Many rainy seasons ago, in a small fishing village along the banks of the great river Niger, lived a young fisherman named Chibuzo. Every morning before dawn, Chibuzo would paddle his slender dugout canoe out into the silvery mist and cast his woven nets into the glassy water, hoping to catch enough tilapia and catfish to feed his family and sell at the village market. One foggy morning, as Chibuzo was hauling up an unusually heavy net, he was shocked to find a tiny baby girl with shiny green scales on her lower half tangled among the wriggling fish. "A mermaid!" he exclaimed under his breath. The little mermaid gazed up at Chibuzo with huge, fearful eyes as she struggled in the netting. Unsure of what else to do, Chibuzo gently lifted the baby mermaid out and placed her into a wide bucket of river water he had resting on the floor of his canoe. "Do not be afraid, little one," he whispered. "I mean you no harm." The tiny mermaid peered cautiously over the bucket's rim as Chibuzo quickly rowed back to shore. When Chibuzo arrived home, his wife Neka cried out in alarm at the sight of the mermaid child. "Chibuzo, what is this you have brought here?" Neka asked, staring at the beautiful yet very confused creature. Chibuzo explained how he had accidentally trapped the little mermaid that morning while casting his nets. "We must return her to the river at once, so she may find her people again," Neka urged, concern in her eyes. But Chibuzo had another idea. He had heard tales of merchants in big cities paying fortunes for living mermaids to display. What if he kept this little one and charged the local villagers cowries to view her? He could finally make enough money to expand his hut and buy Neka the ivory bracelet she admired. Ignoring his wife's pleading, Chibuzo set up an area for the mermaid in their hut, filling woven baskets with fresh river water for her to swim inside. Soon, long lines of curious villagers were gathering outside, paying cowries just to peek at the amazing creature. The captive mermaid swirled around miserably as laughing children pressed their noses to the baskets. Chibuzo boasted to the men about his rare discovery and raked in profits. But Neka noticed the little mermaid was growing more downcast by the day, despite the juicy fish Chibuzo fed her. "Can you not see how unhappy you have made her?" Neka scolded. "She belongs in the freedom of the river, not trapped here forever." Chibuzo dismissed his wife's concerns. He had never earned so much coin before. What he didn't realize was that miles downstream, the baby mermaid's mother, the mighty sea queen Adaora, was frantically searching for her missing child. She had already scoured the river's shallows and tributaries, questioned the frogs, otters, and crocodiles. No creature could tell Queen Adaora what had happened to her beloved only daughter and heir. When whispers from seabirds finally alerted Adaora that her child was being held captive by humans, rage such as she had never known boiled up inside the grieving, desperate mermother. She would make these wretched land dwellers pay for taking one of her own. Gathering an army of fierce warriors wielding spears and shark-toothed swords, Queen Adaora summoned a tumultuous thunderstorm and launched an assault upon the offending human settlement. She would not relent until her child was safely back in her embrace. The night exploded with sky-splitting lightning and window-rattling thunder. Heavy sheets of rain turned the placid river waters into towering, village-swallowing waves. Roaring whirlpools opened up, devouring canoes, livestock, anything in their path. Blinding white foam crashed onto houses nearest the riverbanks, reducing them instantly to rubble. From the scant shelter of their remaining huts, terrified villagers watched in disbelief as the once life-giving river became a destroyer under Adaora's furious command. Only the greedy fisherman Chibuzo can stop Queen Adaora's deadly tempest. By returning the stolen merchild, the elders cried in despair. Inside his rapidly flooding hut, Neka tearfully begged her stubborn husband to relent. "Will you only value coin over your people's lives? Release this mermaid so she may calm her grieving, vengeful mother." Glancing from his weeping wife to the storm and rising water ravaging his home, Chibuzo finally saw the truth. No amount of riches was worth such devastation to his people. He had to make amends and return the merchild to Queen Adaora immediately. Grabbing the basket holding the howling baby mermaid, Chibuzo raced with Nneka through floating debris down to the wildly surging shoreline. Wind whipping their clothes, crashing waves spraying their faces, Chibuzo raised the basket toward Adaora's black storm clouds. "Please forgive my ignorance, Queen Adaora," Chibuzo bellowed above the gale. "I wrongfully took your precious daughter out of selfishness and lack of wisdom. I now return her with deepest remorse in my soul. Cease punishing my people, they are innocent." Setting the basket into the frothing river, Chibuzo watched as the overjoyed baby mermaid dove into the welcoming waves. Seconds later, an imposing merwoman crowned in pearl shells emerged from the swirling currents. Queen Adaora had come for her rescued daughter at last. Scooping up her squealing child safely in her arms, Adaora then wheeled furiously toward Chibuzo, and the line of soaked villagers gathered behind him. "Because of your humans' actions, my people have lived weeks of anguish, not knowing our future monarch's fate," Adaora thundered. "Now you landwalkers shall feel aquatic wrath for stealing treasure most beloved to me." With a lash of her shimmering emerald tail, the Sea Queen sent a towering wave smashing onto the ravaged riverbank, washing away the remains of huts and livestock. Chibuzo and his people were helplessly dragged inland by the pounding floodwaters. Their settlement disappeared completely beneath the unforgiving tumult. For 2 more days and nights, Adaora unleashed the river's full fury upon the lowland fishing village until only a few mud bricks and broken potsherds remained. By the time she was satisfied her child had been sufficiently avenged, every structure the humans depended upon floated wrecked for miles downriver or lay buried under sand and debris. When at last Queen Adaora felt justice had been served, she finally waved the mer warriors back to their watery home. As the storm clouds dispersed and river retreated to normal levels, the weary, homeless villagers were left gazing sadly over what remained of generations of their ancestors' hard work and history, now destroyed in less than a week by one mermaid queen's retribution. With their huts washed away and fishing boats reduced to kindling, the reeling people had no choice but to abandon their ancestral village site and rebuild anew farther from the treacherous river that had both sustained them and ruined them. A difficult journey it was, but establish a settlement they eventually did, beyond the Mer people tribe's territory. Though their numbers had been tragically depleted by sickness and hunger after Adaora's storm displaced them, the bedraggled but resilient fishing folk managed through hard years of toil to construct a modest yet functional new village. Here the river access was less bountiful, but after witnessing Queen Adaora's fearsome power firsthand, the survivors deemed keeping wary distance from merfolk territory safer than chancing another lethal misunderstanding. And so relations remained cautious but peaceful between the inland human village and the mer people reigning over the mid-Niger waterways. As for Chibuzo, some say the disappointed, penitent fisherman set off traveling downriver soon after Adaora's devastation, never seen in the region again. Others claim Chibuzo mended relations by sending what precious gifts his people could spare as apology offerings for Adaora's court. A few elders even whisper he shed his legs to become the first peace ambassador from humanity to merfolk. But that tale sounds too fanciful. Or does it? For who truly knows where the river Niger meets the sea or what forever lies beneath her gentle waves? One thing is certain though, no villager would dare even dangle a toe in those waters without first paying respects to the glorious but terrifying Sea Queen Adaora.